Do not be persuaded by those who have fallen along the way. Do not be discouraged by those who have lost hope, because they thought that the revolution is a bed of roses. We must remain confident. We must remain dedicated. We must never be shaken by those who joined our struggle for personal gain. Comrades, there is nothing wrong we have done to anyone. We have not wronged anyone internally and externally. Those who left have never said to us, create space for us to ascend into power so that we too can lead. They've never, through their factional groupings or individual courage, come forward and say, you can't be president forever. At some point, I must be president. You celebrate cowards who have never confronted us, who have never said to us, this is our cry, this is what we are complaining about, this is what we need you to do. None of those things have ever happened. And you think those are the brave ones. If they were brave, they were supposed to confront us right in front of us and take the platform internally and challenge our authority. Why should we be encouraged by cowards? Why should you follow cowards? Since when cowards determine your future? Comrades, this organization has never had any challenging moment ever. We have never, amongst the leadership, differed fundamentally about anything. If that issue is there, let them raise it. And they must tell you at which platform did they raise it and what was the response. That's why they go around spreading malicious rumors, because they've got nothing politically solid as to why they betrayed the movement of the people. I was never in the negotiations for GNU. The SG was there, the TG was there, Vuyani was there. I was in Polokwane throughout the discussions of GNU. I was called by the Secretary General when the negotiations collapsed that you need to come back and apply your skills and find a way to reach out to these people that you worked with before, because we're not hearing each other. I was the first one, by the way, who said we need to join the GNU and even declared that in public. The only difference I had with them was that I will not join the GNU that has got a DA and Freedom Front Plus. Comrades, today they say to you they were offered positions in the negotiations, and when they came to tell me, I denied them those positions and I went behind their back to speak to Cyril for me to become a deputy president. Here is your Secretary General. Do not do it here. Do it silently in my absence. SG, were you ever offered any position in the negotiations? The answer is no. They were never offered any positions. Maybe in their imaginations, they imagined positions. There was never any position offered in the negotiations. We had never reached that level where we had to discuss positions. We have never. They must tell you who did. I'm saying this in public. Mbalula can contradict that if he wants and say we offered them 1, 2, 3. There was never such a thing. If you remember the Marikana Commission, when Dalimpofu challenged Ramaphosa in the Marikana Commission, Ramaphosa said to Dalibat, you said 1, 2, 3 outside before we came in here, because that is his style, wanting to embarrass Dalimpofu. I want to tell you here and now, I've never asked any position of deputy president from Ramaphosa, and I will never do that because I don't have anything to do with what Ramaphosa has to do. I met Cyril and I said this in public, repeatedly, and I said to Cyril, we cannot go into a coalition with the DA and Freedom Front Plus. We are prepared as the EFF to stay outside and allow you with your 40% to constitute a minority government. And you can be guaranteed of our vote every time you come into parliament, as long as you don't go with these two of the DA and the Freedom Front Plus. There was never any name mentioned between me and Cyril except the name of Veronica Mente. I said to Cyril, even when you constitute a government of 40%, you must know we'll demand Deputy Speaker to hold that government accountable. And that Deputy Speaker is Veronica Mente. That's what I told Cyril in the discussion of two people. I said this in public. After that, even after I said this in public, Mbalula responded and said he find it unprincipled that people have 4 eyes. And out of that 4 eyes, EFF president goes and speak about what happened in that meeting. I told President Ramaphosa in that meeting, I'm going to have to repeat what we discussed here, because I know in the future, people are going to misinterpret what we spoke about. President Ramaphosa agreed that I can communicate anything that we discussed in that meeting in public, because there is nothing untoward which was discussed in public. So who are these clowns to come around and say, I've ever asked for a position from Ramaphosa, that they were offered ministers and I denied the ministers because I desperately wanted to be the deputy president? Fighters, I'm the one who said Floyd Shibambo can be Minister of Finance. I'm the one who said I'm even prepared to stand aside as long as you have Floyd Shibambo as a Minister of Finance. Today, I'm the one who went around seeking for positions. So fighters, you must never listen to the doomsayers who have an agenda to destroy our movement. This movement will never be destroyed by rumor mongering and position mongering by individuals who seek themselves more than the revolution. We have a duty here, Comrade SG, to propel our movement forward. We have a duty to unite these forces. And as from today, as agreed in the War Council, Secretary General will be the chief whip of the EFF in Parliament and lead the forces of the EFF in pursuit of a radical movement in Parliament. We will not abandon our radicalism in Parliament. We will not abandon our quality input in Parliament. And no Twitter is going to tell us to abandon the Progressive Caucus. We are in a Progressive Caucus because we agreed on a progressive charter. But let me tell you, we are not in alliance with MK. We have nothing to do with MK. What MK does is none of our business. We disagree with MK. We are going to contest MK. We are going to say what we want to say and how we feel about MK. But when we arrive in Parliament, the progressive must unite against the GNU of the racist DA and the Freedom Front Plus. We have no business to be concentrating on MK and what MK does. And no Twitter is going to dismantle that which they never established. Before we established a Progressive Caucus, there was never a Twitter perspective that said, when you arrive there, you must go and constitute a Progressive Caucus. We did it on our own, without being told by those who tell us today to stay out of which they don't know what went behind this idea. We might be angry, we might be disappointed, but we must never lose focus of what we want to attain. And therefore, we must ensure that all progressive parties that belong to the people of South Africa and have been proven through electoral support, unite. It is not us who chose MK. The people who chose MK said, you guys go there and become the opposition. And we are going to become the best opposition. Comrades, the GNU must be declared the enemy of the EFF. I am shocked because these people who left and who are now willing to leave and who are silent as we speak now are the ones who are saying we must join the GNU. They said to us that we must join the GNU, the DA and Freedom Front Plus will walk away. I asked them the same question I asked even during the negotiations. Just a few days ago, at the anniversary of the EFF, and Dalimpof is my witness, I said, if we go into the GNU, the DA doesn't walk out, what do we do? They said the DA will walk out. I said, we've heard that part. What if they don't walk out? They said, we stay. I said, well, I can't stay in a GNU with the DA and the Freedom Front Plus. I refuse. No, the people want to take us to GNU. We are concentrating that the possibility of these people going to GNU is very high. They go a different direction of where they wanted to take us. We refuse the GNU. We still refuse it. We don't want the GNU. Fighters, we must make sure that all our councillors and all the deployees are disciplined and continue to pursue that which they have been deployed for. The GTU shall fall under the office of the president, and all powers that belong to the deputy president will go into the office of the president. And everything else that looks like the former deputy president shall be dismantled in the EFF and then gotten rid of with immediate effect. The GTU and all those who served in the GTU under the deputy president are dissolved. You want to deploy anyone into the government on behalf of the EFF, you shall report to the office of the president. We are taking charge of our organization now. We are tired of entrusting in the hands of wrong people. We have been betrayed for too long. We have been sold out for too long. We have been trusting for too long. We need to take it into our hands and run it ourselves. Comrades, this organization will live forever, because everybody who hasn't performed well as a deployee of the EFF on Friday next week shall receive the letter from the GTU to ask why you should remain in your position when you have not brought the result during the elections. Comrades, we are opening a new chapter now. And this chapter exists without them. If you want to belong to the previous chapter that has got them, you can go and join the previous chapter. We now are opening a new chapter, and this chapter shall exist without them. Our destiny begins now. We are marching forward without them. If you are still longing for them, you know where you can find them. They are no longer here. Nothing that looks like them is going to be found in here. Our organization is going to be a pure EFF. Our organization is not going to be EFF during the day and MK at night. Our organization is not going to become GNU during the day and EFF at night. Everything is EFF. We don't speak any other language except the EFF. One of the leaders of the MKP